Right, what's going on, guys? Thursday. The FOMC meeting happened yesterday. It ended yesterday. We had Tesla earnings. It was a horrible day, but let's cover some news today. All right, so let's begin with Wall Street Journal. Um, so Elon Musk says that Tesla will prioritize deliveries over new vehicle in 2022. All right, before that, let's talk about the Tesla earnings first. So yesterday I actually stayed up all the way to 7 a.m. Today I stayed up all the way to 7 a.m. To actually go through the entire shareholders deck by Tesla. So overall, if you guys don't did not see the Tesla earnings, Tesla basically beat on every single possible matrix. We got a top line beat, a bottom line beat, a revenue beat. Okay, they got higher cash flow this quarter, up to $2.8 billion as compared to their previous quarter, which was like 1.3 billion or something. They got a higher GAAP automotive gross margin, which is very, very important because basically this is where they actually earn their money from. It's at 30.6%, 29.2% X credit. 70% more vehicles delivered year over year. I think this is part of the delivery side of things. And this basically just shows how bullish Tesla is in the long run of things. They are also getting into the dedicated Megapack battery factories that are possibly incoming. Of course, there's still no concrete roadmap around it. And also, there will be more focus on the FSD, aka the autopilot system, which is the full self-driving. Right now, it's still in beta, and we do not know what is going to happen from there. Of course, they are still trying to improve the system as we speak. All right, so those are the so-called the good things that actually happened in the entire report. So now, for my own personal concern in the entire shareholder deck, they actually found out. Okay, first of all, Elon Musk kept saying this term, and I think it's very, very evident it's happening in the entire industry, not just in the EV industry. It's happening in GE. It's happening in your cyclicals. Whoever who are in business right now and you're a public listed company, most likely you're gonna get affected by it. Even Jerome Powell said it himself, which is supply chain issues persisting. That's basically what Elon Musk has been reiterating for the past three to 4 months. Ever since from September onwards, he kept on saying that the supply chain issues are really affecting how Tesla can actually exponentially grow their company. Right now, this is one of Elon Musk's major concern. Of course, there are also other concerns such as the lack of battery. The lack of battery manufacturing, I think that's also one of the big issue. I think the structural battery pack mass expansion is still needed, aka the 4680s that the Panasonic are doing for the Tesla batteries. Cybertruck has been teased since I think 2 years ago, and until now it's still not released. Even after we have various gigafactories being set up, even in Fremont, in Beijing, only Beijing or Shanghai, I forgot, in China, yeah. And because of that, without the Cybertruck coming out, kind of weird. And of course, in the Wall Street Journal news, basically you saw that Elon Musk said Tesla will prioritize deliveries over new vehicles in 2022. So I can kind of see why that would be the case. I think they want to get their Model 3s out, they want to get their Model S out, they want to get their Plaids out, they want to get their Y out. And yeah, also, there are also some other concerns, such as the factories are also below capacity, aka still linked to the supply chain issues to a certain extent. Afterwards, we have a 38% decrease in storage deployment, which is kind of not what we were expecting, because the storage deployment for the last quarter was a lot higher. And also, lastly, which should be Fremont, the Gigafactory Fremont. The capacity of the Gigafactory is still not full, expecting expansion to the 600,000 per year, but I'm not sure if you are able to actually hit that in 2022. All right, so these are basically the things that I was looking at for the shareholders deck for Tesla. Okay, so now with that out of the way, in terms of price target for Tesla, I feel that Tesla having the first initial 6% down in the after hours was really uncalled for, which is why I even said it out. Okay, I even explained it on the Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram yet, follow me right here, all right? At Ong Hauser. Follow me on Instagram. If there are things that I'm too lazy to actually make a whole video about it, I'll just make a short story form content that will be up for 24 hours for you guys to actually see. All right, anyway, for Tesla, they actually in the after hours went down by 6%, and afterwards they kind of recovered the entire thing up, going up all the way to about an extra 2% in the after hours, and then kind of just simmered back down to about a flat rate at right now it's just sitting at around $930. Of course, right now the pre-market is not open yet, so we don't know how the price will be moving later on. All right, but anyway, Tesla won't introduce new models this year as the electric car maker bets on increasing deliveries over diversifying its product offerings in the face of ongoing supply chain disruptions. Okay, honestly speaking, I feel that if we're looking at from a macro point of view, it's almost like going to a restaurant and you have a menu with 2,000 items. I would much rather go to a restaurant with like 30 items and you do all 30 items very well. And even from the restaurant point of view, it's a lot easier for you to store 30 items in the menu in your restaurant at all times. A lot easier than you can store 2,000 items on the menu. So I think if you actually use the same macro sense into the whatever company you want it to be, so in this case an EV company, I feel that it's a lot easier for Tesla to just have your Roadster, your Model S, Model 3, Model X, Model Y, your Plaid, whatever it is, just have like a solid eight models around there. Maybe you want to add in a little Cybertruck over there. Maybe they want to get into the SUVs in the near future. I don't know, but I feel that that's kind of what Tesla should be doing. They shouldn't be going down the route of GM or Ford Motors where they have like 30, 40 different models where people don't even care about. And at the end of the day, people just basically just go back to the 3 models that are basically more produced at the end of the day. So yeah, churning out new videos such as the long-awaited Cybertruck pickup would dent Tesla growth, he said during the earnings call. The fundamental focus of Tesla this year is scaling output. So like I said, right now Tesla is doing 70% more delivery year over year, and I'm expecting them to even go over 100% for 2022. Of course, we do have a very, very huge issue, which would be the supply chain issues that is kind of weighing down on Tesla's growth at the moment. But I think it's still going to be hard. So yeah, noting that he expects the company comfortably boost the deliveries by more than 50% this year. So on top of the 70% that we already had year over year in 2021, technically in 2022, he wants to go over 50% comfortably. So do understand that when we use comfortably in this sort of term, it's almost expected that we'll actually beat it very, very easily. So personally, my own expectation for Tesla would be 100% for this year, because I do feel that nearing to the end of the 2023 cycle, we will probably be seeing supply chain kind of easing off a little bit. And that's kind of when we actually see the main pump of delivery numbers. And that's kind of why I feel that maybe quarter 4 of 2022, we might actually see some good numbers going into 2023. But of course, we will not know until we actually hit 2023. So I'm not very sure about that. Okay, it has been 2 years since Tesla last put a new model, the Model Y compact sport utility vehicle, into customers' hands. By now have a widening array of battery-powered alternative to choose from. Honestly speaking, because in Singapore right now, most people who have a Tesla are Model 3 drivers. Maybe a very, very, very small percentage are Model S, where they are actually imported. So honestly, in Singapore, we don't really care. As long as you're a Tesla, you're almost like this so-called like a high tier okay, I don't want to call it sports car, but a very, very fast car in Singapore. And also it's very, very expensive as well. It's about $300,000 for a Tesla. So yeah, it's very, very expensive. So because of that, yeah, I think that it actually makes sense for them to just not create so many different models, not as if like the global side of things are actually catching up with it. So personal thought. So yeah, basically these are the numbers. I don't think you all care as much. Just know that they beat expectations. Okay. But yeah, nothing much on this side. Okay, Fed interest rate decision tease up a March increase. All right, so in case you guys have missed the video of me actually summarizing what actually happened in the FOMC meeting, I actually have a video that's already uploaded on my channel. You can go and find. It should be what the Feds did to the market post FOMC summary or something along that line. Just find it in my channel. It should be uploaded this morning at around 5 or 6 a.m. The moment I finished the FOMC meeting, I went to make some notes and I immediately started recording the video because I thought I want to get it out as soon as I can. But because the statement, if you're just looking from the statement point of view, you think that it's not that bad. Basically the statement just say that they're not going to be increasing rates and everyone was happy about it. But Jerome Powell coming out to talk about it, that was the issue. And I already said it before, we need to wait for the Jerome Powell tone track to come out. Because without checking the tone of Jerome Powell, we do not know what they intend to do. And because, coincidentally, we actually kind of struck a bad nerve because Jerome Powell open the possibility of a 50 basis point increment in the near future and also having a lot more rates hike if needed. And we kind of do not have any downside. We do not have as much downside risk to increase the amount of rate hikes. And because of that, the market kind of was like wavering because that kind of just gives the Federal Reserve more power to increase the rates as we kind of can do so. Hence, we might just do it. But yeah, anyway, the video is up on my channel. Just go and watch it over there. The Fed interest rate decision teased up. Yeah, so basically they're just saying that, by the March 16, which is the next FOMC meeting, we are definitely going to be getting our rate hike there. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of about it. Honestly, I don't want to talk more about this because I already have a video on it. So I don't want to get too hung up on this. All right, Omicron deaths in US exceed Delta's peak as COVID-19 optimism rises in Europe. Okay, so the thing is that I think if you guys do watch my channel or you guys consume my content to a certain extent, you guys know that I feel that Omicron is kind of like a variant that would most probably bring us into an endemic point in the near future. Of course, I do use the term near future very, very lightly because I don't know if it will happen next year or in 2030 or whatever it is. But in macro point of view, in the near future. Okay, but anyway, in this news, basically, they were like talking about how Omicron basically have a lot more deaths. Okay, not a lot more deaths. They kind of crossed the amount of deaths that Omicron have actually caused as compared to Delta at its peak. Okay, so the thing is that I think we kind of need to break this down a little bit. So in terms of the amount of deaths that actually was caused by Omicron, I feel that it's because Omicron right now is about 7 times more viral. The virality of it and the spreading capability of it is 7 times more than Delta. And because of that, if we take into consideration that if 1,000 people were affected by Delta, 7,000 people will be affected by Omicron. And because of this 7,000 people affected by Omicron, it's just going to spread exponentially. That's kind of how a virus works. That's how a pandemic happened. It's because everything is exponential. Okay, and because of that, what I feel is mostly happening is because people who are getting mild cases of Omicron are also going to the hospital, and a lot of countries are kind of not maximizing the medical healthcare system where they are prioritizing the old folks and the younger kids or people who are more in need of medical health care to actually get the medical health care. But instead, they just be like, oh, you got Omicron, come on in. You have Omicron, come on in. And then once the hospital pile up, and then they're like, okay, we cannot get anyone else in. And even if there's someone who's an urgent case of Omicron, they cannot they cannot even help admit the new patient because the hospital is overrun. And because of that, I feel that of course, I'm not saying that all countries do that. I just feel that there is definitely a huge possibility that a lot of countries are actually overlooking that simple point of view. And yeah, I think because of that, those people who are more of risk would definitely get affected by Omicron. Over time, they'll have all the symptoms of Omicron, and then eventually, of course, the worst would happen. And yeah, I feel that it's just more of a shift in the medical healthcare system, how they actually treat this entire pandemic, treating them into an endemic point of view. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. So over here in the US, the 7-day average for the newly reported COVID-19 deaths reached 2,258 a day on Tuesday, up about 1,000 from daily death counts 2 months ago. Data from Johns Hopkins University show that this is the highest since February 2021, as the country was emerging from the worst of last winter's wave. While there is a large body of evidence suggesting that Omicron is less likely to kill the people it infects, it spreads much more quickly and therefore infects many more people than earlier variants. Epidemiologist says case count in the US have dwarfed the previous records. Milder does not mean mild, and we cannot look past the strain on our health system and substantial number of deaths. Okay, that's literally what I'm talking about right now. Milder does not mean mild. Okay, and we cannot look past the strain on the health system. The health system is the issue here. I feel that, of course, if we actually you know what? Put it into another different scenario where we are just talking about coughing. Okay, a slight flu and just coughing. These two very, very similar things. And let's just say the entire country have it. And if everyone who have a cough or have a flu, they actually go into the emergency room to ask for a hospital ward, I don't think that's going to work out. That's basically just going to be clogging up all the healthcare resources, especially with now the labor shortages, especially on the healthcare side of things. Yeah, I just feel that that definitely will affect the death rate to a certain extent due to the whole healthcare system having that big of a strain. But yeah, I mean, kind of expected from this to a certain extent. Okay, even as COVID-19 cases hit record highs, the Netherlands eased the restriction imposed last month in the face of Omicron. I think that's the same. The Dutch government, who has been a target of protests over its lockdown decision, said the decision wasn't without risk. It is following others in Europe, such as UK, Ireland, and France, that has lifted and eased COVID restrictions. So similarly, in Singapore, we have also kind of eased the Omicron restriction, which also is kind of like widely reported on Bloomberg as well. A lot of people were saying that Singapore actually didn't do such a good job by easing the restriction for the whole Omicron new wave of things. I feel, of course, to a certain extent, when we do get a new peak in Omicron cases every single day, which we are kind of on route of doing so, eventually the governments will kind of feel like, oh, okay, you know what, maybe we do have to do so. Right now, we are still on 5 packs as we go out. To a certain extent, I do think that it's all right for us to live with Omicron, because that's kind of how we want to go towards onwards the whole endemic route. But yeah, I feel that at the same time, we do need to not be complacent, because like what the WHO said, the next variant is definitely going to have a higher spreading capability than Omicron, but we do not know how deadly it will be. It could be even more deadly than Delta, and that would be the worst case scenario. So, of course, all these kind of thoughts do go into my mind when I'm actually reporting all of these kind of things as well, because I too am worried about the whole pandemic to a certain extent. But yeah, okay, let's be done with this. Okay, William Ackman hedge fund takes stake in Netflix. Netflix. Okay, I think that this is not a bad shout. If I'm not mistaken, Netflix was $360. Let me check how much is Netflix now. Netflix is NFLX. Yeah, okay, Netflix is $373 right now. And yes, if you ask me, that's a very, very good buy opportunity. For Netflix, yeah, I think that is a good buying opportunity. So William Ackman said that his hedge fund acquired 3.1 million shares of Netflix, attracted by the recent sell-off of the streaming giant stock. Acquired stake in Netflix due to a combination. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I already talked about Netflix enough, which is basically good earnings for the quarter four, but bad forecast for quarter one of 2022. And because of that, the price basically tanked of over 20% drop in just a single day. And yeah, Netflix was actually a $600 stock. Right now it's at 373. It's actually quite crazy to see how it has dropped in such a short period of time. But yes, I do think that Netflix was a good call by the Ackman Group. I think that Netflix definitely still have a good growing trajectory. Of course, the Q1 forecast was more like a uncertainty. I wouldn't want to call it to the point of like fear or anything. I just think that it's more towards uncertainty because we do not know what's going to happen in Q1, especially in Q2, where all the rates hike are bound to be happening. We do not know what will happen there, and for Netflix, I'm almost certain that their cash burn is substantially lesser than all the other hardware companies because they're mainly dealing with softwares. And because of that, I feel that they are more, okay, I wouldn't want to use immune, but lack of a better term, um, immune to rate hikes as much as they can, simply due to the lesser amount of cash burn the company actually has to bear as a whole. Okay, this is boring. Squid Game, of course. Yeah, rose 4% after trading. The moment they hear that they are getting into 3.1 million shares of Netflix, yeah, I would buy that stock as well. Okay, made his name outspoken. Yeah, okay, basically just saying that he bought it. Yeah, to be fair, I think that the news are very boring because right now every single news outlet right now are talking about the Federal Reserve raising rates in March. That's basically what everyone is talking about. Okay, the Kospi and also the Hang Seng Index and also Nikkei, all of them basically went down. So the MSCI down, the Kospi down, China CSI down. Yeah, basically all of them are down simply because of what Jerome Powell said. And again, I do want to reiterate that Jerome Powell is not supposed to be this political figure that have the power to move markets. It just happens to be that because with inflation being the core problem that we are having at the moment, and that's kind of like the ongoing topic that's going to be in every single macroeconomics or microeconomics conversation from here on out. Basically that's the one of the biggest reasons why Jerome Powell can control the market so well. Whatever Jerome Powell says can move the market, and it's very, very evident in the charts that we saw yesterday night, especially where almost every single tech stock, even the bigger ones as well, you can see that there was an obvious move to the downside the moment Jerome Powell answered the possibility of a 50 basis point increment, and also when he was explaining about the tighter labor market where there's a lot of space for them to actually increase rates. And that's kind of where I am with the whole entire thing. But yeah, headache for growth, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, we all know this. We all know this. Powell spoke market. Like I'm telling you right now, the main news you only got two. Okay, Jerome Powell and Tesla earnings. Intel earnings. Intel earnings were quite mad because they did have a very weird forecast for Q1. Yeah, I don't know, man. Huh. Mortgage refinance demand plunges 13% as interest rates climb towards a 2-year high. Ow, okay. So kind of okay. So for people who, well, you guys probably know what refinancing means. Basically, when you take a loan, when the interest rate drop, you can kind of be given a chance to do a refinancing after 2 or 3 years. You can kind of refinance your debt to get a lower interest rate, hopefully, and then you guys kind of pay and such. And basically, because we already know that interest rates are going to go up, they are just saying that the mortgage refinance demand plunges 13% because, well, interest rates are going up. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, and then just their supporting document, I assume. Um, yeah, I mean that's about it. Yeah, okay, that's about it. Actually, I think the news are very, very boring right now because everyone is just very, very concerned and worried about the entire Fed's outlook of things. But of course, there's going to be two more important things that is going to happen in February, which will be, well, actually, there's three more things, which is on the 30th. Is it 30th or is it the 29th? Oh, never mind. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be getting the consumer spending for December, and then on the 10th we'll be getting CPI. 10th of February we'll be getting CPI, and then on the 17th of February we'll be getting the Federal Reserve, the FOMC meeting minutes of what happened yesterday. So these are the three things that we have to be looking forward to. Basically, inflation reports and also the FOMC minutes. After these three reports are out, then we'll just be waiting for the next FOMC meeting, which will be on the 16th of March. So yeah, anyway, I think I'm just gonna end it here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys